Hey everybody, welcome back to I Bleeping Love Packaging, the podcast for people who bleeping love packaging. I'm AJ. Today I'm here with Julie Rice Suggs from the Packaging School, and really excited to have her on. And Julie, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at the Packaging School?
AJ, thanks so much for having me. This is awesome, and I'm so excited to see you start up this podcast. Yeah, of course. So I also love packaging. At the packaging school right now, I'm the academic director. I've been here for, man, we've been in commission for about 10 years. I've been here for about 8 of those years. And basically my job is kind of split up into a bunch of different hats. I work with curriculum. I do some sales and business development, and I actually help run one of our programs through Clemson, the Certificate of Mastery in Packaging Management. So, like any small team, we all do all kinds of different things, but it's really fun because every day looks different. And I always tell students when I'm talking to, prospective students or students that don't know what they want to do, packaging is really universal. You can find something that you love in packaging. And, my job is a testament to that, even though I'm in packaging education. But I do love, working in the education space. I think it's a super important industry to focus on, especially now with the age of AI. Education is more important than ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as somebody who, I went to packaging school at RIT, that's where I went to school, but I went in knowing I wanted
Right.
to do packaging, but I think a lot of people switch into packaging not knowing they actually wanted to get into it. And I think
Yeah.
that it's hard because there's not a lot of programs out there that specialize in packaging. So to have something like the packaging school where people can supplement their knowledge, I think is really important.
Right. And honestly, AJ, that's one of our biggest, calls to action is that, our mission is to train people in the art and science of packaging for folks that maybe don't have that packaging undergraduate, master's, or PhD. We started back 10 years ago. Dr. Hurley and Drew Felty, my bosses, they met together at Clemson and they decided to start this company to solve the problem that people can't always go back and get that 4-year degree. So we typically train folks in that are currently in the packaging or packaging adjacent industries. And those folks look like, people that are in sales, people that are in, marketing, people that are industrial engineers, graphic designers. And, these people come to us and say, hey, I don't have that formal education, but I would love to level up my packaging knowledge or, grab a credential, show it to my boss, get a raise, all things that we hope for, when we educate our learners.
Yeah, I think it's really great. Have you noticed that maybe that there's been some changes in packaging education over time? Like there's a little small thing that happened in 2020 called COVID, and I think that
Yeah.
there's been a lot of change in education since then. Have you noticed maybe an uptick in people applying to the packaging school since then?
Yeah, so actually 2020 was honestly a really great year for us as far as obviously terrible for so many reasons, but as far as education goes, a lot of people were home. They didn't have a lot to do, so we saw that people came to us and said, "Hey, like I'm not working as much. I have, a lull in projects." And we got a lot of folks come to us and, actually needed education at that time. Since then, we are still, we're still going. We're still trying to continue as far as like, training the world. I think that's our goal. A funny thing, AJ, we have someone in all of the 50 states but Hawaii. So if you know anyone, we want to get the whole, every single state because we want to like do a fun little infographic. So just a side note. But yeah, so we, in the age today where education is very easily at our fingertips, we're trying to work and, integrate those things into our curriculum. And we have a really great website designer who is working tirelessly to try to get the AI component added to our website, added to our courses, adding to our learning management system, just so we're not left behind in this current age. I'm still kind of resistant to AI in a lot of ways. It's a pride thing, but I know that I can't not use it. I think it's super helpful in so many ways. So yes, we have seen an uptick in since COVID, and we're continuing to evolve with the times because since they are not stopping, so we have to keep going with those things as well.
So when you're talking about AI, are you looking at using that in educating students? Or are you looking at ahead of how AI is evolving in packaging itself? Or are you looking at kind of both?
Honestly, a little bit of both. But as far as, utilizing that in our systems, we're trying to have, like chat boxes and systems that people can easily take a course with us and then search something and say, hey, where was that one point about, PET? I need to learn more. And then they could easily find it without having to watch another video or go through a quiz or a click through. So we're just trying to make that system just easier for those learners. The only thing is that we've seen is a lot of times people just go to chat and say, hey, tell me more about the polymers that they use in packaging. And that's what we want to do. So we need to be as good or better than the AI systems. One of the ways we can do that at the packaging school is that we do a lot of collaborations with Clemson University. One of our biggest programs is run through the Clemson Center for Corporate Learning. And that credential itself, like AI can't provide. So we do that. And I'm actually the instructor in charge of that program where I grade people's assignments. I work through and talk with the students. I hold office hours. So it's kind of a hybrid course with, online learning, asynchronous, and then speaking with me as like the professor of the course. So we're
Awesome.
trying to do more of that because, that's something that AI can't do.
So it sounds like you guys are really taking an evolution approach toward the education that you guys are doing at the packaging school. Is there a process where students are maybe requesting new programs that you guys can add to the packaging school? Or is it something that you guys are just like finding things in industry where there's white space?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, AJ. And yes, the answer is yes. We actually are working with so we have a really great staff as far as, folks that are highly trained in packaging, marketing, sustainability, production. And one of our employees, Mitch, who is actually our sustainability leader and marketing head, he's been working on adding a ton of free lessons to our curriculum. So those are basically all in the form of articles on our website. So that allows, people to easily go onto our website, kind of get a free idea of what the courses could look like as far as content goes, and then look at those and then enroll in a course. So he does a really great job of focusing on EPR, focusing on sustainability, focusing on innovations in the space. And then as far as like new courses goes, we actually are launching a new course hopefully early next month. We have a partnership with ISBT, so the International Society of Beverage Technologists. We've been working with them since about 2016 range, and we're actually launching a beverage processing technology course with them that's going to be 12 hours, 12 different modules within the course, and this is all built by subject matter experts. We actually found a need in the beverage kind of packaging industry that there wasn't too much on this subject. So we actually launched this in a matter of about a year and a half. It takes a while sometimes to build these courses. But we're really excited to partner with them and launch this coming up soon. Another need that we kind of wanted to solve in the industry is that typically at the packaging school, we've been training people that are in their 25 to 65 range. I would say like adults in the industry before they retire, when they're either starting out or more seasoned professionals. Kind of we get a range of folks from, newcomers to CEOs taking our courses. It's funny that we kind of have something for everyone. But talking with some folks, we wanted to solve a problem that existed in the industry where recruitment, we want to make sure we get people, good students into the industry. So, and also unlike you and I, folks that don't have a packaging undergraduate degree, so people that are, say, doing packaging adjacent things like chemistry, like supply chain, like graphic comms, like business. So we actually partnered with the ICPF organization, so International Corrugated Packaging Foundation, and they have fully funded some of our programs, which is Certificate of Mastery in Packaging Management for students right now. So we're actually targeting students at this point too. And their main mission, I think, is a great one. They're trying to recruit people into the corrugated packaging industry. What better way to do that than giving them the education that is fully funded by this, nonprofit? So we actually had a really great first session last fall. We had 9 students take this program, and they were from 5 different universities. So we had someone from Wake Forest, from Carlo, from Rutgers, from University of Northern Iowa, and then Clemson take this program. So now we're actually in the process of launching a new one, AJ. This is starting in April, and it's going through July. So it's a 12-week program. They cover all the things that you would pretty much learn at a 4-year degree, but in a really short time. And say you don't have to do the creative writing, you don't have to do the physics, you don't have to do the math. It's all very packaging concentrated. And we're looking for students right now in those areas of, supply chain, graphic comms, chemistry, biology, business. And we've really gotten a great following at Rutgers. Those kids love, to learn, and we're trying to find more universities and colleges and technical schools that we can come along and join our ranks.
That's awesome. Yeah, like you're saying, it's nice to take a course and not have the fluff per se, like built in, right? Because I took
Yeah,
a 4-year packaging course at RIT, and my last year,
right,
I took classes like foods of the world, wines of the world, archery. I had a lot of fluff
right.
classes at the end of my time at RIT, and a lot of that came
Yeah,
down to I needed credits to fill out my degree, right? But it's
sure.
nice to have this like concentrated, really intense course load, but be able to walk out with this great certificate program and really just
Right.
boost your career in the right direction. So with that in mind, like when you guys are looking at recruiting and you're looking at reaching out to schools, I know that Rutgers, I think it has a packaging program. Obviously, Clemson has a
Yeah,
packaging
it
program,
does.
right? RIT has a packaging program. Are you looking at a lot of schools that do not have a packaging program? Are you looking specifically reaching out to those schools who might not have even heard of packaging as an option?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So funny enough, my sister actually works at Carlow University. She's a chemistry professor there, and she's been helping me. So they do not have a packaging program there, but the chemistry department and, the dean, they all see a really need for packaging and how closely it connects to chemistry, R&D development, materials. So they're really interested in partnering with us in a lot of different ways. And the first step was getting a student to do our ICPF funded program, and she did amazing. Part of this program, they have to do a kind of intensive capstone project where they have to develop a project or a product. So basically, they either redesign something that they're passionate about. Say, for example, they have a sustainability angle, they have a redesign angle, they have a line extension, or they just want to make a fictitious product. So this student actually took the Lush brand and she said, "Hey, there's only like those standalone boutiques at the moment. Why doesn't Target carry more of them and some POP displays?" And she actually developed a process using different materials, focusing on corrugated to actually solve this problem. So that was really cool to see someone coming from chemistry with no really background knowledge of packaging and doing a really great job at this project. And funny enough, I'm actually a chemistry major, working in the packaging space. So I think there's so many connections and crossovers between the two majors that we are actually, so to answer your question, we are recruiting at schools that do not currently have packaging programs because we want folks that maybe don't know as much about packaging or have no idea that it's even a major in schools. And you probably know this as well, AJ, that packaging, the kids that take packaging at RIT, Clemson, Rutgers, Michigan State, sometimes they have an in to the industry. Say their parents have done it and, they have family that have told them about this. I had no idea that packaging was even a career when I started college, and that's why I went into chemistry. My life could be totally changed if I would have known that packaging was a more viable option at the time. Fortunately, I got into it eventually. But yeah, so we're trying to make sure that packaging is known amongst other disciplines.
Yeah, as a person who got into packaging from the get-go, I actually started out at RIT in the packaging program. It was a really small group of us. I think it was 13 of us on day one, and it grew. I mean, I think that our graduating class was 45 or so. A lot of people switch into it as a major
Oh,
because
that's
they just
amazing.
don't know about it
Yeah.
until they get there. I take that opportunity where I learned about it in high school from my teacher, so I go back every year to my old high school and do a little talk with the class that I took back in the day, which was a design and drawing for production class. So I go back and I show them
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I know you guys think this is just a goofy egg drop project or a goofy tomato drop project, but you can make a career out of this, and it's actually a really well-paying
Right.
career."
Okay, kudos to your high school professor for introducing you.
Yeah, I know, and I give a big shout out to Mr. G all the time. He's a great guy. He deserves the world. The tech departments at high schools, I feel like, are more relevant than ever nowadays. And so, getting those
Yeah,
students excited about hands-on things like packaging is really important.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you guys do any recruiting with younger students, and that I know you guys are looking at college students right now, people who are in industry.
Mhm.
Have you thought about reaching out to even high school students to get them excited about the career path, or are you guys really focusing right now on college and older?
No, that's a great question, AJ. So one of the great things that we truly pride ourselves at the packaging school is our ability to serve wide range of learners, again, from newcomers exploring the industry to experienced professionals and CEOs, managers, and high school students have pursued our programs in the past. We've run some like packaging boot camps on our website before, as far as like students come in and take a pretty basic level course that gives you the ins and outs of packaging. And then they do a project behind it, like creating a cereal box and designing it with a pretty easy system that's not Arduino CAD or Illustrator. And so that's getting their feet wet and to understand that packaging is a really viable career choice. But as far as you currently recruiting, we're looking more at college age students or really, really motivated high school students that would like to take this program and learn something that they really never have heard of before. But because of our diversity of learners, we really try to design our content to be accessible and flexible to, the busy 50, 60 hour week person to the high school student that is taking tons of courses. And honestly, AJ, I can't imagine being back in high school. They are constantly in school. Like they start school at 8 o'clock and they don't leave till 3 or 4. I don't want to ever do that again. Obviously, I don't have to. But so I told her, I said, someday you're going to be in school for a long time. So we always promote education education. So really, we don't require prerequisites for our programs. We truly try to design the content for any type of learner. But at the same time, we understand that some students may want to build foundational knowledge before diving in. So I have a lot of suggestions for them if they come to me and do that. Specifically, high school students, if they're interested, I will typically give them some reading assignments and also those free resources that Mitch has built on our website under the articles. I think that's a really great place to start.
I've actually sent this packaging school to
Yeah.
my professor or my old teacher from high school and been like, look, if you have students who are interested in it after, having this class,
Yeah.
like have them at least take a look at this. So it's nice to know that you guys have some free resources on there because where I grew up on the west side of Rochester, Rochester, New York, is
Yeah.
not the nice side of Rochester. We'll put it that way. And I think that to have that resource for those students who might not otherwise have that resource is
Yeah.
really nice to have as an option. I was very lucky where for RIT, like I was able to get a scholarship and also other stuff to be able to go, but a lot of students
Right.
don't have that opportunity. And so to have this as a place where they can go and learn about something that they might be interested in to then understand if they want to take that risk and that financial, leap
Yeah.
to go to a school and learn about this even more or even do a 2-year program at a community college to at least get them started and then jump into something like packaging, I think is really important.
Right. Right. That is the
Um,
goal. So yeah.
so obviously feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like most of the people who take classes from the packaging school or take the course are probably working professionals and
Yeah.
probably a lot of them are ones that have their companies pay for it.
Our mission is we don't want to saddle some with more debt. We want to, integrate our programs within learning and development, within HR. So, one of my charges is to be able to speak to these people and give them the benefits of these programs in the workplace, increase productivity, up to date knowledge, sites into their organization that they can apply right now. Market trend exposure, the vast language of packaging are most common clients or customers are those folks that are already in the packaging industry, whether it be tons of different roles. And we definitely would love the company to invest in that education. We've partnered with a lot of larger companies. One of our partners is a large corrugated company, and they send all of their rising stars to our programs to basically learn the holistic view of packaging because obviously they're well suited in corrugated and fiber-based packaging, but maybe they don't have that knowledge in glass and polymers and design, printing. And it's been super useful for them because they now can speak to all of their future prospects more educated.
Are you seeing from these companies, are they coming back to you and saying that they feel they've gotten their bang for their buck when they come to you guys and have sent these employees to you? Have you gotten feedback from these companies to say, look, it's worth it. Let's do it again?
Yeah, yeah. So, again, back to that, corrugated company, we've been working with them in this program for about 5 years now. So they do kind of keep coming back and saying, hey, this is super helpful. One of the roles that they do after this program is they present the project to their executive board and all of those learners have to do that and these learners are ranging from production coordinators to graphic designers, get a lot of some packaging engineers, a lot of people that work at their marketing experience center. And because of those presentations, everyone on the executive team has been really excited and on board. They typically do projects that relate to their company and they've been solving, specific problems within their organization from taking this course. So we have gotten really great feedback from that program and they keep coming back and I hope they stay with us for a long time.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear that it seems that the investment's worth it. They keep coming back to you and that, they become more well-rounded packaging people because I've kind of pigeonholed myself a little bit in the industry as a toy and games person. Like that's where my industry knowledge has been for the last 11 years. I've been in the toy and games industry for the most part. And now that I have kind of been back in the job searching field, it's been kind of hard to navigate the packaging industry right now because, a lot of people are asking if I have experience with ceramics or if I have experience with
Right.
food and beverage and I don't. I'll be very honest. I just don't have that experience. And I would love to have that experience. And it's not to say that I couldn't do it. It's just that the
Right.
last 11 years has been mostly paperboard, a little bit of thermoform, toy and games kind of industry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be able to have these people
Right.
come in and be more well-rounded out of this program is really exciting.
I love that. Yeah. Learnings in packaging are super transferable. But yeah, that is really why we designed this program for continued education for folks that maybe don't always have the chance to travel to a conference or to go back to school. to learn more about, like you said, ceramics. Like we can do this from your own home at your desk during your lunch hour. That's the whole, the whole kind of business plan that we have.
Yeah. And I was really excited to see the automotive program that you guys have. I think it's really exciting. There was
Yeah.
a company that I had applied to a while ago called Slate. They're a new truck company coming out. I think they're in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. But they are, U.S. manufactured truck company, and they were looking for a packaging engineer. But being able to focus on something like automotive specifically, which is like a pretty
Right.
crazy industry that's coming really back to the U.S. right now is really exciting. Can you tell me a little bit more about the automotive program specifically and what that focuses
Yeah.
on?
Yes. So I have a really great colleague on my team, Bianca Hurley. She previously worked for BMW and she came on working with us, which was such a great value add for our team. And obviously, she's so well suited in the automotive packaging industry. And she came up with the idea, along with Dr. Hurley, her actual husband, and our co-founder, chief learning officer. They decided to say, hey, like a lot of schools like packaging, like Rutgers, like RIT, don't specifically focus on automotive packaging. So we, consider this one of the first programs that's fully focused on, automotive. It's really great because it's ideal for packaging logistics employees, automotive suppliers, OEMs, sales, customer service, packaging engineers. And honestly, AJ, this program is really doable within, 3 months, I would say. It's about 22 hours, depending on your need to study for an exam. And it is 10 courses. We offer 2 continued education credits. And one of the best parts of this program is that it comes with this really great, huge textbook style workbook. So for folks that like to write notes that maybe don't, that want to complement the online learning with writing notes and learning that way. I know in school that I had to write notes if I really wanted to listen. So we gave them that opportunity, and it's a really great piece to give to your colleagues to just to continue learning from that online course. And this program specifically, AJ, is really great because we actually built it with leading experts in the industry in returnable packaging, expendable packaging, corrosion control, packaging distributors. So they come on, we toured their facilities, we talked to experts. So it's a really great way to get your feet wet as far as automotive. And to complement that, we actually offer a automotive packaging summit in Greenville, South Carolina every year that Bianca and our team run. And last year we had over 400 people attend from
Wow.
all over. And we had people from Mexico coming, people from Italy coming. So it's really become a premier event in this automotive space. And obviously, to complement that is this automotive packaging certificate.
Yeah, that's crazy that you had 400 people show up to that. I mean, it's a needed program. I really think it is
Yeah.
because definitely something we didn't touch on at all at school. And there's actually a lot of stuff that I'm scrolling. I'll be honest, I'm scrolling through the course load right now because I wanted to
Oh,
see
we
like
love that.
I'm just like checking out stuff right now. I am a kind of like packaging design guy, right? I like to get the physical stuff. I like to make retail boxes. I'm a structure guy, but I
Mhm.
don't know anything about art. So like there's a whole section here on design, which would be really great for me to be able to take that to
Yeah.
become more well-rounded in design. I'm looking that there's a whole food and beverage section. There's a
Right.
whole chunk just about materials, which is really great if you want to learn more about materials. Supply chain and logistics. There's like
Yeah.
so many, it's all broken out really nice to be able to look at. And you can do it by the course itself, not just a full section, but you can buy just one course if something
Right.
seems interesting to you.
Yeah, yeah. So we kind of designed this to be able to take everything a la carte. And then there's also programs that combine a lot of courses together, like our certificate of packaging science or a certificate of mastery in packaging management. But yeah, you can take courses kind of as you see fit. So, say, for example, you want to start with packaging foundations, but then you have a need in supply chain. You want to move over to intro to packaging distribution. That we're here for you to do that as well.
Yeah, I think that that's really great because especially the certificate programs, because it's always great to have an extra certificate on your resume, and it's great because you have some different price points too. So if you want to really like hammer home and get the big one, you can always grab certificate of mastery in packaging management. I got it.
Exactly.
But you also have options for the automotive packaging certificate. There's the certificate of
Yep.
packaging science and the certificate of sustainable packaging. And if nothing else, I think that almost every package engineer should get a certificate of sustainable packaging because I think it's such
Right.
an important thing right now, especially with EPR laws going on and everything else happening in the industry. There's just sustainability is so important for all of us. Are you guys hitting EPR in some of these courses as a topic?
Yeah. So actually working with Mitch, again, I keep talking about him because he's such a great asset to our team. He's actually built a ton of EPR resources that are available on our website. Under articles, there's an EPR collection where he talks through all the different state regulations right now, and those are all in our courses as well. And kind of along that, we have also partnered with the Sustainable Packaging Coalition, and we actually take part in helping them educate their members in the knowledge library.
Mhm.
And they talk a lot about different subjects in sustainability, from materials to waste. And they do a lot of great, webinars on APR as well. But yeah, at the packaging school, we are super focused on APR. And the only kind of small caveat or asterisk there, AJ, is that everything is always changing.
Yeah.
So working with Mitch on this, we're trying to figure out the best way to make like an evergreen asset on EPR. And that's been hard just because, again, the continuing changing landscape. But we kind of solved this problem by making an infographic there. You can click on different articles that we can easily update. So again, he's done a really great job, and that's all under the articles. You can see that index on EPR, and he's super focused on that.
Yeah. Good for you guys for trying to make a resource on it because it is a very like ever-changing topic right now. And it's so hard because obviously you have California being like the big player right now, but every state has their own way of reporting things and wording things, and it's been kind of a scattershot. So I'm hoping that they
Yeah.
kind of nationalize what that
Yeah.
looks like just to make it a little bit easier on us as packaging engineers because the reporting that needs to happen for EPR is very crazy right now. And I think it's very
Yeah.
scattershot. And if you don't have a good EPR reporting system or a good way to manage that, it's near impossible at this point. So I'm hoping that there becomes a little bit more, nationally condensed way of handling
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And there's been some companies that are actually like offering consulting for the EPR, situation in the US. And a great one is Recycle Keep. Karen Weinstein, she is a consultant in that space. She opened her own business. She's doing a really great job in that space. And then another one is, let me pull this up real quick. Repurpose Global. They do a
Mm.
really great job in this space as well. So I would definitely look into them if, you guys are looking to dig a little bit deeper into the reporting structures. Our courses don't always cover that just because it's so case by case basis,
Mhm.
but those people can definitely help.
All right. We touched on a bunch of the course load stuff. We touched on a bunch of like the companies that are kind of participating in the packaging school. Do you have a specific case in mind where like a person came into the program, it changed their experience as a packaging engineer, it changed their experience as somebody in the industry, and they're like your gold star student?
Yeah, so this is a great question too, and I love all of our students, but this one kind of comes to mind. And this actually was a student from 2018. He took part in our certificate of mastery in packaging management, and he was actually someone from India that came to us and said, "Hey, I am in charge of running my father's corrugated business following, whenever he decides to retire." And he actually has a business degree. He's gone on to get his MBA as well. And he was such a hardworking, disciplined person. He truly was something that I will always remember for his project that his capstone packaging development plan that he had to do. He did a project on providing better spring water in a more sustainable format. So he kind of looked at a worldwide problem and looked to solve that. And he made a fictitious company on mitigating the issue of single use plastics. And he implemented a paperboard based packaging solution that didn't exist in India. And he actually was able to bring his learnings to his family and his corrugated business and improve that business model with these fresh ideas. We spoke with his father and him after the fact, and he said it was such a tremendous learning experience for them. And he's actually set to start, I think, running the company very soon at this point. Yeah, like I said, he's still getting his education in London right now. He's at Imperial College in London getting his MBA. But I think his future is to run that family business, and he is just such a rising gold star for me in a lot of ways, just because he went out on a limb and found us at the packaging school and decided that, hey, this is something for me. I really want to help my family in their business through my knowledge, and he met the challenge amazingly. Another really kind of funny example, AJ, is that we had a student that was actually from the automotive industry, and he wanted to get more into like the confectionery packaging space, like luxury chocolates, which I know is kind of a hard
That is a
turn.
hard pivot. That is the
Right,
hardest
right.
pivot I've ever
Yeah.
heard, I think, in my whole
So
life. Yeah.
I know. It made me laugh, and I was like, "Okay," so he was really great, and he decided that he did his project on making a luxury chocolate brand, which obviously is super well fitting to what he wanted to get into. After he took our Certificate of Mastery in Packaging Management program, he brought the project, which I think turned out to be like a 100-page document, to his interview at Godiva, and he got the job. So that's always something I love, just to explain that he was able to kind of shift careers through our continuing education.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear that you guys actually give them basically a great capstone project acts as like a really awesome portfolio piece then, as they can take that to these interviews that they go on to and have that as like a
Right.
it's not just the certificate you end up with, but you have that capstone project also as another way to show that you've learned something from this program. I almost find that that's more meaningful than the certificate itself.
No, no, no. Yeah, I think this is something that has been super helpful for our students again, and kind of going back to the artificial intelligence, component. But this is something that they can't just get from typing in something to Chat GPT. And one of the great value adds for this program, and I got this quote from one of our previous students from Rutgers, who again was part of that program that we were trying to recruit folks into the industry. She said that taking this 12-week program with us allowed her to have a better view of the systems thinking behind packaging, which I thought was so cool. Like, as far as going from basically A to Z in the packaging supply chain, materials, processing, design, marketing plans. They actually even had to go through that. So I think it's a really great value add, like you said, to bring it to an interview and say, hey, I've already worked on all this stuff. Like, how can we help you make this reality?
Absolutely. Yeah, I find that packaging has a really hard time. Like you can't Google a lot of stuff, and if you put things into ChatGPT, a lot of times it's very, very wrong. So
It's very wrong. Yes.
the fact that like that you're steering people toward the correct information is very important because I've tried to like
Sure.
put things into ChatGPT and I'm like I know this is very incorrect. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have them be able to build that capstone project or build out that project and know the knowledge at this point as opposed to just relying on a Google search or something that's very hard to find things.
One of my biggest challenges and charges within my role at the packaging school is to continuously update all of our courses. As you know, things get old, they get stale, times have evolved. So I have a really great team working to update tons of different lessons. I think at this point in the last 2 or 3 years, we've updated over 500 lessons just amongst, tons of different courses that we have. Our primary goal is obviously to look at outdated dates, update content and design as far as like making it more appealing to the learner. And we want to make sure that we have a mix of multimedia. So that's like video, click through decks, PDFs, and make it all accessible to different type of learners. I think that's really important, and we want to be inclusive to all kinds of different folks.
Yeah. One thing I had a question on that I kind of didn't really understand about the packaging school. Is there a cohort program for any of these, or is it always an individual learning situation for
Yeah,
these certificate programs?
no, that's a great question, AJ. And our Certificate of Mastery in Packaging Management, let's just call it CMPM because I know
CMPM.
it's a mouthful, CMPM. So that program is actually one that we run in a cohort. So we allow the students to take the courses on their own asynchronous because we know that they are either in school or working full time. But I do offer a lot of like joint office hours where we get all the students together and we talk to them and, solve some of their problems. They can bounce ideas off of other students. And then sometimes we actually do like a final panel project where they actually have to present their projects to an industry panel. We did this specifically with the International Corrugated Packaging Foundation folks, the students that were in university, and they all got to meet each other, they all got to present to industry, and they did such a good job. So yes, to answer your question, this is the one that is more structured in a cohort basis, depending on how many students we have. And I also like to offer them like a final like happy hour, so to speak, where they can come on, talk to me and Dr. Hurley, and we can answer their questions, provide them feedback for their future if that's what they're looking for, or just, give them a pat on the back because they've done such a great job. So yeah, this one is a little bit more structured than some of our other programs.
No, that's great though, because I think that another great part of that is not only are you getting the certificate, not only are you getting the capstone project, but you're also getting the networking of having other people in your cohort that you're able to have office hours with, or be able to bounce ideas off of, or just network in general. As
Yeah.
you're looking at other jobs in the industry, or just looking to like run into somebody at a Pack Expo or whatever, then you'd be like, hey, like we were on a cohort together, and you
Right.
bump elbows with people at different industry events. I always find that's really important. It's been really great to be able to use that network and use via LinkedIn or old college buddies or people from previous jobs and be like, hey, who's got things available, and to have that as a resource through you guys is also really great too. So
No, I love that, and I think, AJ, like, the packaging world is so large, but it does feel like it's a close-knit, group of folks, which is great. All super welcoming, and like you said, like, at Pack Expo and in those type of conferences, it's always good to find a familiar, welcoming face.
yeah, absolutely. Let's leave it with this. So what do you think is kind of like evolving with you guys right now? Where do you see what's the sneak peek? What's kind of like coming down the pipeline?
One of my hopes for the future as far as what's evolving at the packaging school is to get more like team training on the books. I think it's really important for companies to obviously train their team. And I think my goal for, let's say, 2026, 2027, is to find these companies that are willing to invest in their employees and build a actual learning program with them. We actually have a really great way to do this, AJ. It's called this library program where we offer discounted prices for, bulk enrollments, and we offer them like a really great customized webpage with their company branding. And that's something that I really think is going to be a great way to train in the future, where it's focused to their company, they get what they want out of it, and we allow it to be a really seamless experience for them.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. It's a great way for companies to invest in their employees as like a larger group, right? They get the
Right.
discount. Maybe they can tailor it a little bit more toward what their goals are as the company,
Yep.
if they're working
Mhm.
with you guys. And yeah, really just elevate their whole team as a unit.
Yeah, that is definitely my hope, and I actually have a kickoff call today with the company that invested in this program, and we're gonna talk to their sales team and, explain to them the benefits of taking these courses and the value that they're gonna bring back to their company.
That's great. Julie, it has been awesome to chat with you about
Yeah.
everything packaging school. I'm so excited about this. How do people get in contact with you? How do they talk to you guys more about the packaging school?
Yeah, so my email is super easy. It's just julie@packagingschool.com. And I have a LinkedIn as well, just under Julie Rice Suggs. Or you can give us a call at the Packaging School number, 864-412-5000. Honestly, AJ, this has been great. I love to see folks that are as passionate about packaging like you. And I'm so glad we connected over LinkedIn. So please add me on LinkedIn, anyone that listens to this. And I'd love to, have a conversation.
Awesome. Cool. I'm going to put all that in the show notes. So that way, if people need to get in contact with you, they'll have a link for your LinkedIn. They'll have a link to
Yay.
the website, because I think that like it's a great resource, and it's something that I can't speak highly enough of. It's like you guys are
Thank
just
you.
awesome. I'll be very honest. I personally haven't taken anything from packaging
That's
school,
good.
but I would love to one day. I think that's something that
Yes.
I'm going to put as a goal for my next employer, is to push to try to get me into a
Oh,
course,
heck yeah, AJ. Okay.
because I want to be I want to be able to put the hang on, I'm gonna get the abbreviation right. I want to put the CMPM
Thank you. I know.
certificate on my LinkedIn. That is my goal. So we're gonna get it done. Thank you again, everybody, for listening to this week's episode of I Bleeping Love Packaging. Guys, the code this week in the comments, or if you want to shoot me a message, is CAR, CAR. Okay. I think that that's something really unique that the Packaging School has, is their great automotive program. So the code word this week is CAR. So just put CAR in the comments on Spotify, send me an email with a screenshot, or just send me an email with the word CAR, and I will send you guys out a sticker pack with an I Bleeping Love Packaging sticker. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.